Hey y'all, what's going on? Eddie here, and welcome to the third episode of the Model Train People podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking everything Springfield, also known as the Railroad Hobby Show. So, the Railroad Hobby Show is the largest model railroading convention in North America and is quickly becoming the crown jewel of the convention circuit that everybody and their mother in model railroading makes an effort to attend. I'm going up this weekend. Dennis is going up this weekend. Matt basically lives there, and we are hoping to have an absolute blast. The second part of this episode is also going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it does come to maintaining a membership with the NMRA. When you're done with this episode, like, share, comment, subscribe to whatever platform you happen to be consuming this on, and click on the show notes to find a link to the rest of our social media, our Discord server, and every other place that Model Train People exists on the internet. And with that, here's today's episode.
Go button.
Go buttons hit.
Awesome.
Awesome. What's up, dude? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of the Model Train People podcast. Happens to be the 20th of January, so it's Inauguration Day in the United States, the federal holiday observance for Martin Luther King. So that's why I am off and have some time, just because I'm a federal employee. It's nice. Get a nice little Monday. Dennis, how's life, man? How was your weekend?
Doing good. It was a great weekend. It was a little busy. I had an op session
Yeah,
on
dude. Heard you all
Saturday.
went out to the Juanita and did that.
Yeah, up to Juniata. Well, that's
Juniata, excuse me.
you're good. Uh Up to the capital region of New York to simulate going down and out to central Pennsylvania, but whatever.
Yeah, it works out. It's due
But
south.
it was good. It was fun. Dispatched, which that layout was basically built around the role of dispatching.
Hmm.
So it's a great time to dispatch that layout. And I was trying to get a live stream going, but unfortunately the bandwidth. I guess the layout owner got a bunch of new Wi-Fi enabled devices for Christmas, and so
Ah,
it's
and that'll do
really
it.
been it was really a drag on the bandwidth. So he says he's gonna try and get it resolved by next month. So hopefully we can
Yeah.
stream live from there.
You've
But it
live
was
streamed from the
good.
Juniata before, right?
I did. I live streamed every other time I've done dispatching. I've live streamed, and I live streamed last month as well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It just I guess those extra devices just really pulled the bandwidth down.
I mean, given my history of internet issues over here, yes, they do. And I think the big culprit, like sitting and thinking about it, is like we've got a repeater that kind of works. It's a sugar pill more than anything for us. But
Hmm.
like you like looking at like what sucks our data right now is we have a Wi-Fi baby camera
Yep.
and it is eating literally all our bandwidth right now. So it's like, oh, well, this makes sense. So but yeah, no, I need to go back and I know I've at least listened before to you doing running ops out there and doing the dispatching, but I don't think I've ever paid attention. And you have you showcased that layout?
Yeah, I really should go through and do a better tour, but I have like a brief overview tour in the very first video I did on the layout, but I was very wide-eyed at just kind of looking around and figuring everything out that day. So I
Yeah.
went back, I think the third video I did on that layout, I did a proper layout tour because I got there nice and early, so I was able to walk from end to end on the layout. But I
Yeah.
really should take the time to do another one.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that's all like we'll get into this in a little bit, but like talking with um you introduced me to Paul Stamp and he and I had a conversation on Saturday for about an hour. It was really, really good conversation, but I wish that I had layouts around that I could just like go see and like because that's such a piece of my repertoire, my like something to
Model
pull from of
railroad
like what an
experience.
operational
Yeah.
layout looks like in person. I think that's cool that like you get a chance to go up there and see that stuff.
gotta invite you up for Ops Till You Drop in May.
Oh, dude,
That'd be
absolutely.
fun.
Be a blast. But yeah, so today, so we were actually dropping, so we're recording this Monday night. We were gonna do it last night, but just some scheduling conflicts, and I'm really glad that we moved it. Because so I ended up going to a birthday party for my friend's daughter, little 2-year-old daughter. And she lives literally on the other side of the state. So like where we live, literally on the Delaware River, they live on the shore. Like stone hop, skip, and a jump, like maybe like drive like a couple like a mile if that, and there's the Atlantic Ocean. So it's kind of cool. Hour and 15-minute drive in good conditions. And I know you did you guys get all these? It's been cold this year.
It has been very cold this year. Yeah.
So
We got some snow last night. We got about 6 inches of snow here that I had to dig out in order to get to work this morning.
yeah, but you have a Subaru, so it works out.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, man. My like Mary and I, Mary's very much like, Northwest Ohio, has dealt with like effect before. She
Mhm.
knows what this is, and like it get like the news says anything like 3 to 5 inches. I'm like, yo, this is like serious, just because of my formative years are all in South Texas. And like we're sitting there last night, or sorry, Thursday night, Friday night, and trying to figure everything out. I was like, hey, listen, we need to go get groceries or whatever, like tomorrow, before we go over to Cam's. Like, you want to do this? We need to get changed for the tire. She's like, no, like what? Like, dude, it's just no, it's okay. So fast forward to, we're trying to roll out of basically the LBI, and we follow like we end up getting, it's like pissing rain, and we get behind a gravel truck, and then we're
Oh
behind the
no.
gravel truck. It was fine, but like all of a sudden it just, like as soon as we got like past this red light and got into like the Pine Barrens, it
Hmm.
started dumping snow. The baby messed his diaper, so we had to pull over into somebody's like driveway, and it's like it is literally pouring snow. And yeah, probably one of the most terrifying drives I've ever had in my life, because like whiteout conditions, you can't, like, it is pitch black. Like I'm waiting for some like eldritch horror to come out of the woods or whatever. But like there was a point where we were just south of the joint base, so like Lake NAS, what used to be NAS Lakehurst or NSA Lakehurst, I forget what the naval support
NAS,
activity, like,
Naval.
anyway, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I started fishtailing in the snow
Oh
on the
no.
road,
Uh,
and I'm driving an Outback, and like I'm not like Mary's like with the baby's freaking out, like 'cause he's just tired and just not happy to be in his car seat, and I'm listening to an audiobook. It's like I'm trying to see, it's like, all right, I'm gonna play it cool. I was like, oh man, we're gonna die, like one of those things. Like as soon as we finally, like, two and a half hours later, when we finally got home, I like turned to Mary, I was like, hey, yeah, that drive, yeah, I was scared to death the entire time. She's like, dude, she's like, one, you handled it great, but two, like, I grew up in this. You could have like pulled over and we could have swapped out. And it's just like, yeah. But
yep.
anyway, hopefully the weather cooperates for the drive up this weekend. It's looking like it
Yeah,
is.
it's looking like it's actually going to be a relatively nice year. A little chilly, but warming up through the weekend.
Yeah.
And that's better than this. I mean, I've been there one year. I think it was 2019 or 2020. I was there, and it was like frigid. It was like 18, 19 degrees, and you're like scrambling to get from building to building. And then there was 2021, I think it was the big snow year, and no one showed up on Saturday or on Sunday because there was a big snowstorm Saturday night into Sunday, and so
Yeah.
the people that were there got some pretty good deals.
Oh, I can imagine.
But
But
this year's looking pretty good, so
yeah. So anyway, to what we were actually here to talk about. So yeah, so this is our Springfield forward look that'll be dropping, if the scheduling goes well, Thursday morning, Friday morning at the latest.
just in time for your
But
drive out,
absolutely, or flight, or
your
if you happen
travels.
to live in Springfield, to walk over to the state fairgrounds. But yeah, so this is my first time going to it. And Dennis, dude, how many times have you gone to this show?
Let's see. I went. I went in 2017 was my first time. I went out with my family.
Hmm.
And that was a great time. I was wide-eyed and shock and just joy. And then we didn't go back for another couple years. The first time I went back was actually 2020, January 2020, because I went with my train club at school. We
Yeah.
decided to make a trip of it. Then 2021, they were still shut down due to COVID. They never, they didn't run the show that year because everything was still, very slowly starting to come out
Yeah,
of
that probably would have been right when
shutdown.
the
But
vaccine started coming out.
yeah, it was January 21, so it was right when things were slowly starting to warm up after shutdowns and everything. But then right back in 2022, and I've been there every year since. So this will be my three, four, five, sixth, fifth or sixth. I don't know. How's
Um,
math work?
yeah, something like that. I mean, you're an architect, right? Math doesn't really matter that
Who needs
much.
math?
It's just ankles.
But yeah, it's always a great time, and I'm really excited. This is my first year. I'll be out there for the whole weekend.
That's awesome.
Me and Matt got a hotel room. We're
Oh, dope.
participating in Winterfest, which is the Northeast N-Track convention. So we'll both be bringing our T-Track modules and be part of that layout. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, man. I'm super stoked to get out there and see it. Like, all right. So for those of you who don't know, this is the largest model railroading convention, at least in the. I think it's not the world, right? I know at least in the United States, it's the biggest.
Certainly on the North American continent. I don't know about Europe. I don't know what shows are like in Europe or down under in Australia, but John Sacerdoti has done some research, and it's the largest one he can find on the North American continent. So
Yeah, and yeah, it's gonna be a really good time. I know Mary and I are driving up early Saturday morning to kind of hang out on Saturday and see stuff, and then we'll be driving back down to New Jersey on Sunday. So not the entire weekend with obviously with the logistics of mom's watching the baby this time. So that'll be nice for us to kind of get away and
Mhm.
experience a little bit of New England. Get some trains. She gets to see kind of she gets to meet you guys. So that's
Yeah,
uh,
man.
that's that's awesome. We get to like you haven't have you met Matt in person yet? Because I don't think
Not yet.
yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah. So the three of us at least will get together. We can do some planning, and then maybe next year we can try to convince Nick to drive all the way up and Tay from Indiana to come to this thing. But oh man, it's exciting.
Great time. It's always so
Yeah.
good.
So what are you excited about the most for it this year?
Um, I mean, obviously being there the whole weekend, you'd think I'd be excited that I get to really take my time and enjoy everything, but I'm not actually, I'm probably not going to be taking much more of my time than I have the years when I've gone only one day because I'm doing so much at the show this
Yeah.
year. I'll be wandering around Saturday and probably Sunday morning, then
Hmm.
early afternoon, late morning, early afternoon, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be volunteering at the NMRA booth, which we can get into more in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoons, I'll be running on the T-Track layout, Northeast N Tracks T-Track layout in the Young Building. So I'll have quite the schedule.
Yeah. So you're starting the day then in the Mallory building and then ending up in the afternoon in the Young building, correct?
Probably, I don't know. I haven't quite determined my routing yet.
Yeah.
But I've got a list of all the or I've got a map. They've got the map that you can download at the floor plan on their website, and I've got all the booths that I want to hit highlighted on there, so I can go from building to building and get to see all the people I know, get to talk to some of the manufacturers. I want to talk to Bachman. I want to talk to Kato about some stuff that they've done in the past or they're doing in
Hmm.
other scales, and I'm curious if they're bringing them to N scale because I'm the N scale guy.
Yeah.
So
Aren't we all?
uh so yeah, I've got my map already. I started putting together my shopping list today of things I want to keep an eye out for. So all
All right. Give me your top five. What are you looking for?
right, well, the top things I'm looking for. Number one is the Rapido Osgood Bradley coaches for the New Haven in N
Okay.
scale. Because I've got a couple of those, but I want a 4 or 5 car train of those because those are really nice cars. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for oh, excuse me. a couple of microtrains heavyweights, also for the New Haven. That way I can have a more authentic consist. They rarely ever ran all of one type of car.
Right.
Looking for some books on the New Haven because I only have a couple and I want to really do, buckle down and get some research done. And then I'm going to be keeping my eye out for some decoders for older style locomotives.
Okay.
And there was something else that was,
You gonna try to do sound with them or just whatever you can find?
I'm gonna. I'm just starting with normal. I've been using the TCS Classic N and Classic N Jeep decoders,
Hmm.
which is basically all the older, like the '90s locomotives that have just two light boards, not a single board that runs all the way through the frame.
Right.
It replaces those two. You still got to run wires down to the motor contacts, but everything else is in those two boards, so
Okay.
it makes that installation process a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'm going to be keeping an eye out for is I'm going to keep an eye out for any S1, Alco S1 models
Ooh.
that I can see. Because what I want to do is I want to take the frame off the S1 and work on scratch building in Alco High Hood 600, which was their first switcher that came out in the 30s. And the New Haven wound up with a prototype. So I want to scratch build a shell for that.
That would be really cool. Dude, Alco has such pretty locomotives.
The aesthetics. I'll be bringing my DL 109 that hopefully my LEDs will be arriving on Wednesday so I can
Hmm.
get the LEDs installed. But I have an old Concore DL 109 that I just hardwired a decoder into this weekend. I've been doing so many decoder installs so I can get stuff
Yeah.
running. But I'll have that. I'll have my I don't know if my RS3 is going to get here in time, unfortunately, but I'll have my Alco Century for the New Haven that'll be running. So lots of Alcos.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Yeah, I'm still I need to I was as we're sitting there as we're sitting here talking, I was trying to see if I could pull up the list and show like kind of what the spread is for between the couple of different buildings, but um yeah, I think
Yeah.
anything like I need rolling stock bad. And I know I mean I could probably spend some time by like going and buying stuff, and it's like all my money right now is all stuck in T-track modules. So I can get some good deals on some covered hoppers and maybe a couple gondolas for some scrapyard ops. Will be golden. Or what's going to happen is I'm going to see something again, Jeep 30 like the like from the 60s, 70s CNO on the side, and then all my
Mm-hmm.
money's going to go to that. And we're like, well, great. I have this, but I'm something I it's literally something I don't need.
Shiny object syndrome.
I suffer from that so bad. And um but yeah. So hey, no, I heard for the T-track setup, like are they letting people if you bring your like locomotives, like are they letting people run? I know Matt mentioned that. Did you hear that?
So it's the guy who's in charge of that, Fei Chin.
Yeah.
He's pretty lenient with that. Basically, if you come up and you've got a decoder equipped locomotive that you want to test or you want to let do a couple runs, if he's usually, as long as you're a pretty, you seem like a pretty nice guy or a pretty nice gal,
Yeah.
you'll probably be able to make some laps around the layout. So if you have if you're a nice person and you want to make a couple laps with one of your trains, make sure to grab it and bring it to the Young building. I think let's see, we are number
Hold on.
98 on
Please.
the in the Young building.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull it up real
Yeah.
quick. But yeah, no, Faye, man, honestly, like that's the other list I need to do is like people that we need to run into and or I need to like sit and like kind of introduce myself to because I know Matt's been talking for like when we were in conversations about having a little bit more of a larger presence at the T-track layout. I know Faye was one of the people that Matt was definitely
Yeah.
talking to us for with us. However that vernacular
However that
works.
statement
Yeah,
works.
yeah. Talking to him for us, and he would have been an awesome person to kind of like have on this because I think that T-track layout that they do is the largest, at least in the Northeast, when they do set it up. And let me see if I can.
It's usually pretty big. It's because this is like I was saying earlier, Amherst is where the Northeast NTRAC as a whole organization does their annual convention, which is called Winterfest.
Mm-hmm.
So people from all over Northeast NTRAC, which runs from Jersey all the way up to Maine and Vermont. People from all those, everywhere across Northeast NTRAC come and bring their NTRAC and T-Track modules. So the T-Track layout's usually pretty good size. The N-Track layout is usually pretty large, and that's I think usually in a BLC.
Yeah.
But
Well, anyway,
it's pretty good.
oh, yeah,
There's
it's
your
gonna be
map.
good. So here's the map. They're shared. We'll see how this looks with the. Oh, what did I do?
It's a PDF. Just click anywhere.
Yeah, I know. There we go. Yeah, so this is a huge couple buildings. So here's the Mallory, and then yeah, you guys can see this, but
Mallory Complex is typically a lot of layouts, as you can see from the floor plan there. It's some really good ones. Reading Technical Society's layout is great. It's, I mean, 160 feet long. It's huge.
looks like
And
some Fremo right here.
yep, we got the largest Fremo layout that they've ever had at Amherst. I think I heard John saying it's 200 feet long. Then there's the Fremo N layout right next to it. You got the European Train Enthusiasts New England chapter. You've got the Northeast Corridor layout, Northeast Corridor Historical Society. You've got the New England Lego Users Group with the L
Ooh,
gauge
that's gonna be
trains.
cool.
Yeah, I hope there's a guy named Alex who last year brought a Lego version of the Lionel Blue Comet, the 773E,
Hmm.
or the 300E rather, which is like the classic standard gauge one with the big red wheels. And I mean that thing looked just like the Lionel model. Is pretty
Oh, that's
incredible.
dope. Yeah, man. Oh my God, I can't wait until Henry is like old enough and cognizantly aware enough to take him to stuff like this because this is gonna be a blast. But okay, what did you say? Where was the T-track layout
Yeah, so
setting up?
T-Track's Young 98, so bottom
Young
right corner of the
98.
Young building. Yep, there you are. That square
There we
right
go.
there. That's where Matt's probably going to be there for a lot of the days. I'm going to be there in the afternoons.
Yeah, and then where's the because I know you said you're doing a lot with the NMRA, kind of being a roaming representative for them. Where are you
So
set up?
yeah, so I'll be at the from 11 to 1 and noon to 2, Saturday and Sunday respectively. We'll be in the Better Living Center 29B, which is right by the one of the entrances on the left there.
Yep, right here.
I'll be hanging out over there, meeting people, talking about my experiences with the NMRA, telling people about what the NMRA does and
Oh, right next to the
what
Kato booth.
benefits there
Okay.
are. Yep,
Yeah.
there's the BLCs, a lot of these booths. So the NMRA booth is right there, and I'll be hanging out there talking to people for a couple hours each day. Um, having a good time
Congrats.
getting to know people. Working with some really great people over there.
Yeah.
Then while I'm in the area there, before or after, I'll probably check out the Kata booth. The Bachman booth is up above there. The Mini Prince booth is over basically right next to where your
Yeah, I was
cursor is
just yep.
there. Yep. Bernard usually has a content creators meetup uh at noon on Saturdays, so I might sneak over there for 5-10,
By
take
the
a
way,
quick break,
congratulations on
but
hitting 500 subscribers on your channel.
thank you.
Uh,
Appreciate that.
so that's how's it feel to hit that first I guess that first level in YouTube land?
I mean, it's kind of crazy that I've, got that many people following me, I guess.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem, it doesn't like, I can imagine a room with 500 people, and it's hard to imagine a room of 500 people sitting there watching me fiddle around with my trains. So it's pretty incredible. I'm really thankful to everyone that follows me because it's the whole reason I do my YouTube, which is the whole reason I'm also volunteering at the NMRA booth, which is I
Because you
really enjoy
care.
this hobby. I love this hobby so much, and I want to share my love for it with the community. That's why,
Yeah.
big reason why I got involved here with you, Eddie, is being on this side of things. Moderation, because I love this community and I want to share my love for this community with everyone and make the best place I can be.
Which is actually an incredible segue to we're talking about in the community. Like, yeah, man, like anything. large organizations like this hobby and stuff, like it needs people who have that give a stuff factor and who genuinely care, because that's what's going to carry stuff forward. And I know you put me in touch with Paul Stamp. Paul, I think he's about 28 years old. He's the assistant superintendent out at the Lake Shores division. Which you're part of the Lake. Is that your division?
No, I'm in the Hudson Valley
There we go.
division.
Okay, gotcha. But like, you know, he you want to talk about somebody who cares. Like I know he does banking like full time and stuff, and like he's like us, he's taken a leadership position within the NMRA, and I'm curious. I wonder if he where he is in terms of age wise, probably one of the younger officers anywhere within the organization. But like he and I had a really kind of heart to heart conversation um, Saturday about what you can do to bring more people into the NMRA's fold, if you will. And well, let me ask you this, Dennis. Like, what are things that you're like when you're sitting there and you're talking like, or actually, if you had to pick one thing in the NMRA, like where that experience like really either makes or breaks it, where does it start? Like at what level?
Like at what level does
Or
like the NMRA
organizationally?
work?
No, not work, but like what I mean is like the
Succeed, I
succeed.
guess.
Like I just gave, I just paid my dues. Now what? Who like what is that front door for me as a new member of the NMRA where it's going to basically be my gateway to everything else and really be my experience.
I'd say when you're just joining the NMRA, regardless of where you are as a modeler, as a hobbyist, I'd say step one of the NMRA is the achievement program because it's something that I'm slowly working on now.
Yeah.
If you ever heard of master model railroader as a term thrown around, that's basically that's the when you earn a certain number of achievement program certificates, you receive the honorary title of master model railroader. But what it does is it takes you through all different parts of the hobby, from wiring to track work to scenery work to working on locomotives to working on rolling stock, and brings you through all of these kind of basic skills of the hobby. And when you reach it, you bring your models or your scenes or whatever to be judged by people who have more experience, and they give you feedback on it. They help you to improve your skills. They give you a score, and then usually on the back of the scorecard, they give you a whole bunch of notes on here's how you can improve this model. Here's how you can bring your modeling to the next level. Here's something you can improve on to fix your wiring up a little bit. Here's it's that progression as I think the step one of the NMRA that is so unique to it because there's not really anything else that I've found that's like such an inclusive program like that in the
So
world.
yeah, I think that is amazing, but I think I would argue back that I think that there's a step zero, and it's not anything that you or me have control over. Maybe a little bit, but and I would say that the that program, anything is directly impacted by how involved or not involved your division is,
Yes, very
and
true.
and
That's
I
something,
think
I guess that's something that, you struggle a lot with, I know, and I'm sure we'll get into that in a minute here, but
yeah.
it's something that I guess I don't usually think about because I'm really lucky. When I joined the NMRA, I found myself in a fairly active division, the Hudson Valley Division, in one of the most active regions in the country, which is the Northeast region.
Hmm.
And then even when I was up at school, I was, doing stuff with the Hudson Berkshire Division, which is an even more active division than the Hudson Valley Division down where I live. So I've been really lucky in that I have it, but you haven't been quite as lucky.
Yeah, and I'll get into that in a minute, but no, dude, it's like you and Matt talking about because I know like Nick and I talk, we were texting kind of back and forth, like there's an argument to be made that model train people would not exist if the New Jersey division was a more active region, and that would have just kind of sucked my time. And like, okay, cool, let me just get hitch my wagon to this. But like, I'm genuinely in. I think it's awesome that like you have had such a great time, and like you get the mentorship in the hobby and the ability to go out to all these different layouts. Matt, obviously, he's involved and he has things that he does with that, but um, and there's a couple other cats and dogs that are in the Model Train People's server that they have different levels of affiliation. But like even like Paul and I, we had a conversation because I've talked about it a little bit, but not to the level of like, no, I think I have, but um, I have I believe in the NMRA as the advocate and basically like the beating heart of the hobby, but I'm square that the NMRA is not the hobby, and if the NMRA for whatever reason, went bankrupt, it disappears off the map tomorrow, I think the hobby confidently would still survive. I think without that advocacy, without your standards and conformances, I think you run into like USB versus USB-C and everybody like doing like Apple has like their lightning device, but I know with like the rules from like the EU now that's all been like fixed. I think you run into that where different manufacturers will go off into different directions in what they're doing. You don't have like a unifying, force
Hmm.
for standards and stuff, but other than that I think it'd be okay. But it definitely helps. And yeah, so you introduced me, you hooked me up with Paul, and Paul will eventually get on for a podcast on this. But he was kind of curious about what my experience was, and the big thing that like he wanted to know, like my thing is that I joke about is like, hey, like why should I pay for friends? And I use that as a very cynical kind of kickback to the NMRA. Although I probably will I'm going to renew my membership
Membership.
with it just and probably switch over to the Philadelphia
Mhm.
division just because it's literally across the river. But we kind of went back and forth, and his big thing was it's like he's like, what would get you to join it, and stay within a somebody like, quote unquote like an outsider, and he's like listing things off like, what if we did clinics? What if we did this? What if we did? And I was like, yeah, dude, no, that all sounds great because that is meeting the piece that I wanted, which is that social connection aspect of the hobby, and then allowing growing and seeing different things like you have had, like he
Hmm.
has had.
Hmm.
Um, but again, that's so organizationally, dependent on what division you happen to fall under. Where with me, um, like, dude, it's been a year and nobody has reached out to me from uh my division. Uh I got a automatic email, I think back in May or June from the MER, but I think I mean the MER is only going to have so much, sway on stuff, but really that divisional level, that local level is what is going to be the NMRA or isn't going to be the NMRA for new people. And it's wholly, I firmly believe that the experience that people have at the local level is what determines whether or not they re-up their membership or if they, set in their mind, forget this, I'm not doing this.
Absolutely.
Um,
The NMRA to the average person, the NMRA is their local division.
yeah, and as it should be, right? Like I know I've heard a lot of like there's a lot of conversation, and I believe in this to a certain degree that like there's too many divisions, and there's an argument to be made about that, but at the same time like I I know you listen to a lot to Ray Arnott. I listen to a lot of AML, and the AML guys, they have a lot of back and forth on, kind of like about half of them I think are NMRA guys.
Mhm.
But like, how do you make it work? And like, there's the virtual region that they've been talking about that they feel that the NMRA should do, which I think kind of is the interchange a little bit. But there's like a couple times a lot of people it's like, well, and I forget who it was talking about it on there. It's like one of their main guys. I know it's not, I'm blanking on the main dude's name. It's not Strand, but the male boy, um talking about like, well, people need to get involved. And my argument back is like, in that is like, get involved to make it where it's something that you want it to be. But why am I going to spend my time in an organization that clearly doesn't care about me? And yes, there's the at large NMRA that cares about me as a modeler and as the hobby. But again, at that local level, if you're not going to reach out to me, if you're not going to make it a welcoming place because I'm paying money to be part of your organization, then no, I'm not gonna take my time and put forward what effort I would to make it better. Um, so I ended up, after having this conversation with Paul, kind of stewed on it and wrote an email out to my division, basically calling them out of like, hey, like, I've been sitting in your backyard for a year. You guys have not reached out to me. It's frankly a fail. And gave them, we'll call it I mean, it was a angry letter. I was venting more than anything, but like, if this is an example of what your organization is, then why would I want to go further than looking at the from the outside looking in, from what I assume is basically, kind of the stereotypical, this is the good boys club. We're passively looking for new members, but we're not going to go out of our way to do it because this is our club, and you can be part of us
Mhm.
or you can't. That's up to you. And then I've had conversations with people in the Philly region, and it sounds like there's a little bit of some more tea on some how active or not active the this division is, and then a couple other organizations that aren't NMRA affiliated, but there's conversations like one of the T-track groups that I'm on the mailing list for, asking like, hey, like, just basically a poll of who is an NMRA member in this group, and it's a relatively small amount. And kind of the big thing is like, the NMRA doesn't care about me,
Mhm.
and the NMRA doesn't care about my scale. Um, and it's like, that's got to be directly related to the division, because I'm sure if you go over to Philly, or if you go to the hub, or if you go to the Lake Shores or somewhere like that, yeah, they're going to care, because people have a vested interest in seeing that organization grow. Like, the NMRA is, what's the average age? It's like, what, 55?
Probably about that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the last time, like the last number. And then like Paul was telling me, like, before he joined, the average age of the Lake Shores division was like 74. And then over
Mhm.
time, I think yeah, I think he quoted me, like, I think it's now like 51 or 49 over 2 years, because of the outreach they've been doing to bring new people in. And I think a lot of these, look, the NMRA caters to an older audience. That's why they have that thing where, like if you get like with Medicaid or whatever, where you get like a discount on your membership. Granted, it's super cheap. It's only like, it's $69 a month or a year, so it's like $5 a month on, if you want to span it out, maybe a little more. So it's not that much, but like, if you don't make the overtures to get my generation, your generation interested and involved
Mhm.
in the hobby, these divisions literally will die out because they have nobody left. You go to the New Jersey division website, and they have, it looks like it's a meetup like once a quarter, and that's it. But like,
Mhm.
it is literally like, you scroll back and it's just nothing but like in memoriam obituaries for like different people, and it's just like, man, again, very much outside looking in. Um, but it's like, how many divisions across the United States that don't happen to be in the neck, like are like this, or that don't have and even then, like the new, like the railroad history that exists in this division with Conrail, CSAO Conrail
Hmm.
sitting in Mount Holly, which is a 15-minute drive from me, that way. Um, the Pennsy, Perth Amboy, New Jersey Central, like all this history that exists on the East Coast when it comes to railroading. And you feel like there's, but again, like it's also a New Jersey problem and very, very New Jersey because you have Philadelphia, on the south dominates South Jersey and then
Hmm.
New York dominates North Jersey.
Hmm.
So I mean that's kind of the pull there, but it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And I wish I have had a better experience that and I'm envious of some of you guys who
Yeah.
have that resource that a good division is.
Yeah. And I know, you obviously took quite a lot away from that conversation with Paul, and I'm really glad that you guys got together and talked because I mean I mean you the last few days you've had this spark about the NMRA chatting about it. It's really, it makes me happy to see because as someone who's seen the great side of the NMRA, seeing someone looking for that is always great to see. But I know Paul took a lot away from it too because you put a lot of thoughts in his head of what is, what what is the best way to respond to someone coming at it from an argument of I'm paying for friends. I know he struggled a lot with that. With I mean, in a way, it kind of is. So
Yeah.
he struggled with finding an answer with that. And I was chatting with him after you guys talked, and he was talking to me about that. And it was, you both took away a lot from that conversation, which I think is the best kind of conversation to
Oh
have
yeah,
around something like this.
absolutely.
So
And here's the thing too, and on that, right? Like the NMRA struggles from, by the way, hi Lucy, if you're listening to this, I know we're making your job hard. Um, because this will probably be the clip that we end up putting up on TikTok and stuff as the 30-second teaser. But the challenge with the NMRA is it is so late to change because it is frankly a lot of people who are Luddites and are set in their ways where I think the MER, like last I looked, I don't think they're looking for dues. They want to like mail a check in and give us your $8, and then like I'm gonna continue to poo poo on the New Jersey division, but it's like, yeah, give us your $10 check. Here's the cash. Send the money order to this PO box, and it's like, man, can I just Venmo it? Can I just
yeah,
like Apple Pay you guys and then call it good?
or at least
But
PayPal.
yeah, PayPal. Anyway, but it's it's very late to change.
Yeah.
And I know Gordy, and that's something that I want to try to shake the hand of and talk to him. Also try to bother him for some Orkney scotch, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but I know he's trying to do a lot of good things, and it's just I think one of the things that they need to look at from a funding perspective, and it is a question of like, hey, like for since the 30s, the um like benefits and basically the value proposition of joining the MRA is, hey, here give us your money and you get access to this club, you get access to the accreditation, you get access to like the Master Model Railroader program, you get all these things, the social aspect, but that doesn't take into account um, the internet. That doesn't take
Yeah.
into account, Discord groups that pop up and at some point, does the NMRA become a redundant thing, or does its current setup for how it generates its revenue? Yeah, it's a nonprofit, but even nonprofits, and I've run a nonprofit in the past, like you have to find a way to generate some sort of cash flow to support the cause that you're doing.
Yeah.
That becomes an incredibly difficult thing to sell with a generation like our two generations where everything's online. The internet has made things so much more democratic and at our fingertips where I don't need to worry about the local club. Why am I going to pay to the local club when I can just create my own, my own group and get literally everything that I could want from that local club in this Discord server? And this is probably a little bit of a rehash of episode one, but fine, whatever. It's a continued conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
like that's the same thing. Like Nick and I were talking yesterday. We were just kind of texting back and forth. And he's like, "Yeah, dude. Like from his perspective, he's like, yeah, I'm not paying for that because I can do it on my own. Like I don't need the NMRA." And I think that's the thing I was giving Paul, and Paul had a really good idea in that conversation of like, imagine if it wasn't again. And this is it's $5 a month, right? It's nothing, but it's still a barrier at some point. Um, but what is the revenue draw from instead of paying dues, you do something like a NPR, PBS, or Wikipedia, and it becomes like a donation drive of, hey, this is where the money's going. This is this. We really need your help with this. Do you want to sign up? Like if you sign up and give us, for your pledge of $10 a month, you get this really nifty T-shirt. And the T-shirt, you know what? I'll, dude, I'm a sucker. Like, you want to sell me like a baseball cap that
You want to
says like
give me
NMRA on it
something?
or whatever? Like, dude, I'll pay $40 for that. I'll like, I, I'll do that. But like, you have to find different ways to reach people. And I would love to see what the study is if they're even at that point where you take a division, you take like a subset of people and you go, hey, you're not doing dues. We're gonna ask for you to like, if you have the ability, donate and see what level, how much is there an increase? Is there a decrease to at least test to see if that's something to do? Because look, man, at some point, like that itch, the itch is not going to be scratched from just dues. And I think
Yeah.
if in Eddie Biddingfield's, personal opinion, I think if you shift to the hey, give us what you can, that shifts the mission of the NMRA to truly being the advocate in the heart versus the dying social club that it may or may not be perceived as.
Hmm. Yeah.
But who knows? Yeah, I think
It's certainly, especially with, we talk a lot about the age of a lot of the people in the NMRA. The NMRA is 90 this year.
yeah,
So actually Gordy will be cutting a birthday cake at, yeah, I can't remember if it's Friday or Saturday at the show, but for the NMRA's 90th birthday. So, with age comes change, and I think that's what we're discovering is we're really searching for that change to be more
yeah.
present in the
But
NMRA.
right, and it's the frozen middle with any organizational change. Like you are a piece of that change. Paul is definitely a piece of that change. Gordy, obviously, from the top, and he can only
Mm-hmm.
do so. He can only do so much from the top, right? You have to get that buy-in from your middle management, and that's the divisions. Lucy is definitely part of that change.
Oh,
So I know she's
absolutely.
she's definitely a evangelist, if you will, for the hobby, or at least for the NMRA. But yeah, it's going to take time, and it's going to be very interesting to see whether I'm curious to see in 5 to 10 years if the things that Gordy and company are trying to do makes the NMRA evolve and continue to be at the center of the hobby, or if the NMRA begins to fade as a relic of the past.
If you're watching this in 2030, be sure to comment below and let us know.
Yeah, let us know and let us know how. Hopefully no major wars have broken out between now and then.
Oh, please. Uh,
Oh man, what it just feels like time has since 2020.
Time
Like,
has done nothing but accelerate.
yeah. Do you feel that like we get a little meta here for a minute, but like in 2019, like time was like like whatever, and then like the pandemic hit, and ever since it's just been like, and now it's 2025.
Pretty much.
Tiger
I
King.
I went into COVID going into college, and now somehow I'm out of college. How that happened? Don't ask me.
Yeah, that's just college though. One
Yeah,
day
I
you go, and
guess.
then it's like one day it's gone, and it's like I don't know. Maybe that's just us getting older,
Yeah,
going
maybe
through experiences.
living life,
Yep,
hopefully to its fullest.
yes, nothing like a 4 hour sleeping for 2 hours because you were up the night before something was due, trying to cram it into 6 hours. Like, who needs sleep?
Not me. I'm an architect. Not legally yet. Don't sue
Yeah.
me.
When do you test for that?
I mean, theoretically, whenever I want, but in practicality, you can't get the license until after you get all your experience hours anyway. So it makes sense to wait till you have a bunch of experience hours in each area of design before you
Yeah.
take the exams. So most people takes 4 to 5 years.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not terrible, yeah.
Yeah, in due time. But well, I think this became a more of a NMRA conversation than it did a Springfield conversation. But yeah,
No,
whatever. It still
it's
works
all
out.
wrapped up in there.
Yeah, but yeah, dude. Bottom line, I'm excited. I know you're excited. I think Matt,
Absolutely.
as he's dying because he's sick tonight, I know he's very excited about it, and we're gonna have a blast. I'm gonna get lost.
Hmm.
I need to take this map out and do the same thing and highlight. I know, or stuff. Excuse me. We'll bleep that out. We'll call that the one we get for PG.
There you go.
Um, but
Yeah.
no, man,
It's
it's gonna be good.
it's a great time. I'm fully fully expecting an awesome weekend, and I hope you all out there who will be joining us, if you see us, come up, say hi.
Yeah, and if you are looking for us, I think we were talking about it 2 o'clock over at the T-track layout on Saturday is when everybody's gonna kind of glom together. I know we originally on our little chat were talking about doing the Mallory, but that's because I have no sense of geography, and now that I know where it's all being set up, we will be sitting 2 o'clock in the Young Building
Yep.
over by the T-track modules.
Young
It is
98.
the Young Building, right? Is that
Yep,
right?
Young 98.
Young 98. There we go. My God, I got it.
Yep.
So come say
Well,
hey. Man, next year, like I was thinking about it like this weekend. We need like stickers. But once we get
mhm.
once we move away from our AI branding and get something a little bit more solidified and I guess environmentally conscious, if it were, for our friends in the graphic design field. We'll definitely do the right thing with that. But man, handing out zaps or whatever, just getting those stickers everywhere, that'd be
Oh,
dope as you know what.
I'll be having my stickers. I'll be handing those out left and right for my railroad. So if you want one, come find me.
Yeah. But so I guess moving forward and looking into the rest of the you just real quick. So wrapping up here in February, we are going to be doing it'll be our 1 year anniversary as a group on the weekend of the 22nd of February. We're gonna do a meetup up at Titusville Tabletop Games. I need to talk to Rob because I'm kind of curious to see how far this goes from a advertising perspective. But um, in-person meetup at the same time, we are also going to be doing a trainathon. We did it back in June to help your little cousin Nova out. I know right before this, you guys were running trains, and she's
Hmm.
adorable. What is she? Eight? Is she 13 months? 14 months now?
She is what? How many months is she? I don't know. It's something. It's somewhere between 1 and 2 years.
Okay, cool. That's
I
we'll call it
think it's. I think she was born in August. So how many months is that?
public
18
math.
months maybe.
Yeah, that checks.
Something like that.
Yeah, she's getting big. That was kind of cool.
She's yeah.
But no, I know we did. It was awesome being able to help her out and get $1,000 raised to her towards her college fund. Just despite everything that kind of happened with her, but this year or this round of it, and this will become an annual thing tied into the group's anniversary. Um, we're going to be supporting or donating with the intent of giving stuff to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, just because it's in my backyard, and with more of an intent to probably try to give that to the palliative care part of Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, just because I'm a new dad. I had a friend who she was telling me like, yeah, she started to do that work as a nurse, and I was like, oh, what's that? And then that took me down a YouTube rabbit hole, and I had nightmares for a good week because nobody wants that to happen as a parent, right? You don't want that, but it does happen. So if I could pay, if we as a group could pay that kind of forward to, parents and families going through probably the worst thing they could possibly go through, and make that a little bit more of a comforting transition for, both them and their kids. I think that'd be kind of cool. So trainathon this time, start 6 p.m. Friday the 21st February, and run to Saturday at 6 p.m. on the 22nd. And if we can do kind of the same thing, get $1,000 again, I think that would be awesome. So this is our call out to, if you are a creator, if you just want to give your time and help us run this live stream, or come out 1 o'clock over at Titusville Tabletop Games in Titusville, New Jersey. Bring some trains and some. We'll see if we can run it. We're doing a T-track module, and I think somebody else is bringing like a HO diorama. But my only ask is come and ask us like 2 weeks out. So I think that's like the pull like math and pull up the calendar is the 8th of February, just because Rob doesn't have that much space. But if we can get some people to come out and do the thing, it would be awesome. But yeah, trainathon. Come shoot us some emails if you've got any more questions on that. But on that, if you have any more questions about us, we are literally on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, which is still active today, um, Instagram, YouTube. Um, just search Model Train People, and then if you want to email us, it is modeltrainpeople@gmail.com. Shoot us some questions. If we get enough questions, maybe eventually one of these days we'll do a Q&A. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, you can find Dennis at InScale Train Boy on Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, we got plus this guy up to 1,000 subscribers on his stuff. And like, share, subscribe to this. Leave a comment, interact with us. I'll talk your leg off. I know Dennis will do the same. But for those of you going up to Springfield, we'll see you there, and have a safe trip. And Dennis, stay warm, my friend, and I'll see you this weekend.